Hello, welcome back to From Soft Serve. Yesterday's video was all about that new mod that came out called Soulstruct for Blender, which is made by Grim. I just call him Grim. He's a legend, and now he is a super legend. The development of Dark Souls Nightfall and the Daughters of Ash mod. So, pretty crazy. But it allows insane new things. So I kind of wanted to show, because I'm learning at the same time as everyone else is. I don't know Blender terribly well, so this might be helpful for people that are also not like Blender experts. So here's how you get started using the Soulstruct for Blender. So basically, I'll link this in the description. This is the GitHub page, and you go here, you download the Soulstruct zip file. Which, if your internet is awesome and cool, which mine is okay. Currently it only works for Dark Souls Remastered, by the way. They have announced that it will be moving towards more, or adding support for other games. So obviously your Dark Souls 2, presumably 3, Elden Ring, you know, that kind of stuff. And so the instructions say to basically extract this. I learned the hard way that basically it's inside. Whenever you extract this, it will make an IO Soulstruct folder, and then inside there will be an IO Soulstruct folder. So I made the mistake of copying over the highest level one. So basically you just want to have the IO Soulstruct. So and then this is where it's really dumb, I think, for Blender. Maybe you can move where this folder is, but it was so stupid. So basically, you have to go to your users, your username, which I'm Steve, in case no one has, I haven't said that beforehand. My name is Steve, my actual name. I am also from SoftServe, but app data roaming Blender Foundation, Blender 3.6, or whatever version you have. I think it takes up to 3.2 and higher. Scripts, add-ons. And this is where you will copy your IO Soulstruct folder. Because inside here, this is what it should look like. So these are all the tools. This is how, and so once you've copied that, you're then good to go. Open up your Blender. Open up your delightful Blender. And then you will go to Preferences. Now I have to admit, I may be doing all of this wrong. I am not a Blender expert. I am simply fiddling around in the dark. I've had a very light usage of Blender in the past, and Magpie has been super helpful. And I've had other people reach out that are way better at Blender than me, so that's been really nice. And then so basically, now the Soulstruct plugin should show up here in your Blender add-ons, and so you can kind of search. And so then you'll see Import, Export, Soulstruct, and you'll check this checkbox. Haha, booyah, it's now active. You love to see it. And so then this is what you'll see to start with, is you'll have like a blank project, and you'll see the Soulstruct settings over here. And you'll see that it has a drop down for games. So currently it's only Dark Souls 1 Remastered, which works out really well for me. It has game directory, so you do have to go find your Dark Souls Remastered folder, which is commonly in C program files, Steam apps, Dark Souls Remastered. For me, it's in my D, Steam apps, and then Dark Souls Remastered. So wherever that is for you, just find that, and you'll tell it where it's at. Cool beans. And MTD, that is going to be in your Dark Souls Remastered folder, and MTD, and you'll see the mtd.mtdbnd.dcx. That's your overall material file for your game, and it will use that. You can also use a custom one if you want. I do not have a custom one, so I'm just going to use the standard one. And then the PNG cache is something that I sort of had to fiddle around with because I didn't understand it. And I read the instructions, and it didn't really say much about it, but I figured out what it is, basically. So you create a new folder. I created a folder in my Dark Souls folder. now that I'm thinking about it, I'll probably move it to my actual Soulstruct. This is my main project folder for Dark Souls Remastered or graphics overhaul. And inside here is probably where I should have put it, but you could put it wherever. It just needs to know where it's at. So I just made a folder called PNG Cache, and I selected it, and then I was like, okay, cool, there you go, that's where my folder is. And basically what it does is when it automatically imports a file, well, not automatically, but when you tell it to import a Fiverr file that you want to edit, it's automatically going to grab the textures for that file, convert them to PNGs, and then dump them in that PNG cache file. But, or PNG cache folder, I mean. It will become important to, because there was an issue I ran into with this, which I'll cover that right now actually. So I had an issue where I was trying to import a map piece that, like, let's open up our, we're going to come back to this. This is what I want to do today. I want to fix this nasty flap that is literally just here. And it's also in the Prepare to Die edition. Originally it like wasn't visible from this angle, but if you turned around in game it was. It's really strange. So I just need to slice off this little dumbass looking thing. It's so stupid looking. And there's also other issues. Like you'll see this clips through just by default. Like that's the original, that's how it's actually set up to be, is to have the bookcase clip through. It's so dumb. It's so dumb. So there's a lot of this stuff I have to fix. But for today I wanted to do something presumably simple, which is cut off this flap. But really quickly, let's dump Duke's Archives. And I want to show you the map piece I was trying to import into the Soulstruct Blender thing. And I was running into an issue where it threw an error. Oh boy, it's taking a while to load those textures for some reason. Undead Burg is my fattest map out of all, so it sort of makes sense. Yeah, let's see if this works. So let's try to import 2000B1. So this is how I was originally doing it. So there's a map stem dropdown, and you can see here that it has all of your map indicators by, 1002 being Firelink, 1001 being Undead Burg, 1000 being the depths, and so on. So basically we'll select M1001, which is easy peasy. And this is how I was originally doing it, but there's an easier way I will show you later. But this is sort of like just a little bit of foundational. So under File, Import, you'll see Fiverr. And you'll also see like things for collisions, nav meshes. I have not really messed with that a whole lot. So right now we're just going to start with Fivers, which I think will be the majority of your starting edits, right? So I have like a recent thing down here where you'll see M1001. That's just inside your map folder, inside Dark Souls Remastered. So you'll see M1001, and we are looking for 2000B1. So you'll see that they are ordered by the name. We have M2001B1, but we want M2000B1. So we have M2000B1A10.fiverr.dcx. The other thing is it can open the DCX files and the Fiverr files. The only difference is that there's the compression on the DCX, but it automatically decompresses it and opens the Fiverr anyway. So you can pick whichever one you prefer. I just open up the DCX. And so if I try to import that, let's see what it says. It may not have an issue, but it threw me an error. Yeah. It says, cannot find texture M10 Ivy. Yeah, cannot find texture. And so this has happened to me where it basically can't find a certain texture. So if we're looking for M10 Ivy DITAL01. Okay, I gotta remember that. M10 Ivy. And so that becomes an issue when you try to export it, right? But it does pull up the mesh here, which is very nice. And so then basically, this is where we get back to our PNG cache folder we created, of at least how I figured it out. So basically, let's go back to our Dark Souls Remastered. Let's go to Map, and I believe it should be in M10. But a good thing to do, regardless, is to basically go back to your M1001, and we want to pull up the Fiverr that we're trying to edit. So we're going to pull up M2000B1A10 Fiverr in Fiverr Editor, because in here we should be able to find the ivy that it's talking about. And I think it's usually going to be, you can either click on all those links up there, or you can just kind of surf through here. And this is where it'll actually tell you the different paths that it's using. So here's like the baked light map. And then we have the detail map. We have the MTDs it's using, Cliff 01. The other thing you can do is just go one by one here. Yeah, here it is. So M10 Ivy detail. Interestingly, that is stored in the M10 folder. All right. Well, let's do what we were going to do before. So we go to in the map folder here, your Dark Souls Remastered map. The M10 is where all the textures are stored, and then M11 is for Painted World, M18 is for Undead Asylum and the Kiln, yada yada yada. So basically the longer numbers here are where your models are stored. So M10 is where they have the TPF files, which is where you pull your textures from. And let's go into this. We have M10. We're looking for M10 Ivy, and you kind of surf through it, and you can tell pretty quickly that the way that these are named, you're in the wrong folder. So I usually go numbered by 000, 001. So let's see, M10 at the end. You can see then it starts with the M10, and then it's alphabetical after this. So we're looking for M10 Ivy. I think it cuts off at G. So we need to do M1002. This is probably going to be the most boring video ever for some people, but I'm okay with it. Yeah, so M10 Ivy detail. And it has a specular, a normal. Now, interestingly here, I don't see the standard file. There's just the specular and the normal. Interesting. Sometimes I've had it where it incorrectly shoves the standard albedo texture at the bottom for no particular fucking reason. This just might be a weird case where like that texture doesn't exist. Yeah, that's weird. I'm not sure what to do about that one, other than like if you basically just skip it, because it will load in the texture on its own as a blank texture. Basically it'll just go, oh okay, well we'll just make an indicator for it, no big deal, we don't have the texture, don't worry about it. And supposedly that's fine. I do love that this mesh has this little part over here. It's so stupid. So here's how we would edit that. So you have your map piece in here, and you see, okay, here's the floating thing, and this happens in all kinds of map pieces. You basically go up to, you're in object mode by default, you go to edit mode, and you can then go, I would like to hit the delete button. So you basically select it, delete vertices, and then usually you have to do it again because there's like vertices hanging out. And then that's it. You go, okay, now this is where you get into a problem where that texture issue might come back. So let's see what happens. So basically we're sitting here, we've removed the thing we wanted to remove. We go to export, and oh yeah, this is the classic thing I always forget to do, is you have to go, at least as far as I can tell, you have to go back into object mode and make sure like you've selected it, and then go to export, and the Fiverr thing will no longer be grayed out. So I usually I've been using my documents one as where I can just store a test file. I'm not actually saving it to the actual Dark Souls Remastered folder. So let's see if it lets us export the loose Fiverr file. Yeah, and so this is where it goes, cannot get exported Fiverr, texture node, material 36 has no image assigned. And so I've been sort of fumbling around in the dark because I don't know Blender that well, but you go to your material tab over here, and I already forgot what material it said. Hold on a second. You'll love to see it. So hit that, material 36. So I've done this where you actually click on material 36 and you just tell it to fuck off basically. And then you go, well, do it again. And I'll see if it does it. Yeah, because then it says zero size array to reduction operation minimum, which has no identity. So removing the material, not a good move. doesn't work. So I don't know, I'll get back to that one at some point. But to get back to what we were talking about earlier about there being that PNG cache folder. So the issue I faced with this mesh is different. That's a new one where that texture doesn't exist. So I might have to find that separately. So what I've had happen before is it will say, hey, most of the textures for this fiver are in M10, right? They're all from Undead Burg or Firelink Shrine or the Depths. And they're basically stored in that M10 folder. But let's say that it's an object that has some foliage on it, which in Undead Burg, that happens quite often. What you'll find is that those actually rely on some textures from M12, which is Darkroot Garden. And that was throwing me an error in Soulstruct. So basically what I did is I grabbed this folder. You're going to see a bunch of shit that's been adding up, basically. And a lot of it, well, I'd say about 25% of it I added myself. So basically, if there's a texture that Blender Soulstruct is telling you it can't find, you just need to go find that texture. And when you do, like M12 Frower, I love that they called it Frower 02, basically I find the actual texture, which, as I showed before, you can find them in your M10 folder, M12 folder, M11 folder. Go find the name. And so, for instance, let's say we're going to grab M10 handrail. Let's say, for instance, that's the texture that the game goes, dog, I have no idea where that fucking texture is. So you dump that file in here, basically copy your handrail.tpf.dcx, you right click and you yabber it, standard yabber, not DCX, or you witchy BND it if that's the unpacker that you're using, which makes perfect sense. And you'll now have this folder that is handrail TPF DCX. And you go here, and here is your texture. Here's the texture that Blender Soulstruct, in this case, if there was an issue it threw with it, this is the texture it wants, but not just yet. So I use the XMadHack context tools, but you can use anything you want. You can use paint.net, you can use Photoshop. Any tool that lets you open a DDS file and then save it as a PNG. So right here I have an easy option to just, boom, convert it to PNG. So then you copy that PNG and you save it to, oh, there's already one here. Well, just ignore that there's one already here. And you save that PNG, booyah. So next time you basically go back to Blender, create a new project, and do the import of the fiver again that was throwing you that issue with that specific handrail texture. Now that you've put it in the PNG cache file, it will grab it from there. It will go, aha, cool beans. We know it's here. We don't need to look in the TPF files. We got it. And that's how it works. It's kind of goofy, but that's kind of your workaround if you run into those, which I definitely have. Of course, this is the first release of this tool. And it's also incredibly likely that I'm just doing it incorrectly. Also, this video is going to drive the people crazy that occasionally comment that I need to edit my videos better, and I go, yeah, that's fair. But also, my entire channel is built on me not doing that, so I'm just going to not do it. And you get to see how the sausage is made. And I know that's going to annoy some people, but most people love it, so from what they seem to be saying. And I go, okay, cool, got it. So here we go. Here's our dumbass map flap thingy, and it's actually part of a larger map piece called M2133. So let me show you what I found out much later in messing with this last night. There's an easier option for importing. If you hit the N key on your keyboard, you'll get a little side menu, they call it, which I did not know about at all, but I looked at the screenshots that Grim had shown and I was like, wait, where the fuck is that? And so yeah, you hit N for a side menu, but there's also an option up here to show the side menu, and you'll see Soulstruct and Soulstruct Havoc. Soulstruct Havoc we're not going to get into. That's a whole other thing with like nav meshes, and I haven't really messed with that. But if you go to the Soulstruct tab, you'll now see these really easy options for Fiverr import, export, instead of going to the file menu. And there's also MSB import mode. So it says import map part names and transforms from appropriate MSB in addition to reading model file. And so I check mark that, and you'll hit import Fiverr. And so it's a bit of a quicker option, and it also gives you like the export option and import option. I can't say I 100% understand the importing with the MSB import like selected versus what I was doing prior. I don't actually, like, I read the description here and I don't fully get why that's different. I'm wondering if that fixes my texture issue from separate maps. So just throwing that out there in case I'm dumb and I missed that. But so we hit import Fiverr and we are looking for, let me remember, 2133B0, which there's actually an easier way to do it. I believe. Yeah, so let's change our map little stem up here to the map that we're currently on, which is M17, Duke's Archives. And then you can actually tell it to give you a list of all the map pieces that are in this map. And we need 2133. Let's see if we can successfully find it. 2133B0. And so instead of like going into the map files yourself, it'll just give you a list of all of them that are in the map currently. And so you click on it and we'll see what happens, because I've never loaded this one before. So I'm hoping it loads correctly. Oh, did I not hit? No, I clicked on import map piece, right? Did I not click on that? I may not have clicked on it. Fucking hell, I didn't click on it. Son of a bitch. Yeah, okay, it didn't throw any errors at all. Well, it also didn't seem to do anything with it. Oh my dear God. Why the fuck is that all the way up to, oh my God. I haven't really been testing out too much of the move to origin, because I'm like, yeah, but I don't really want to like fuck up the origin of things, right? But then again, in this case, I'm pretty sure, yeah, can we frame so? Oh, okay, first of all, that is not what I selected, just so we're clear. Yeah, baby. You love to see it. Hey, we found our flap, little map flap thing here. You can see it very clearly. Yeah, there's just a doorway. And so yeah, I haven't moved. I'm not messing with the origin of files yet. Once again, I'm dipping my toes in this. I don't want to go too crazy, too fast. We're keeping everything the same of where the origin is. So let's go to edit mode. And I was kind of wondering if, I was wondering if this was a bigger map piece. It seems like it is. I was hoping that it was like little things that I could cut off. I believe you can like subdivide these, right? We're gonna, there's extrude. Can I extrude? Is that a thing? I don't know. Yeah, if I hit delete on this, it ends up, well, actually that's fine. I don't think I needed that. Oh yeah, that's just like a weird dumbass panel that is actually not present on the other side. So, okay, in this case, we can't actually just delete it because now it matches up with the other side. Yeah, well, fuck that. All right. So let's, I guess, yeah, let's hit export. Yeah, export map pieces. All right. Oh, is it going to do it automatically? Whoa. I've never tried that before, but that shit is sick as hell. Oh, that's really cool. Normally I've been saving it manually and like going to the folder myself, but it looks like it can actually, yeah, it detects the map. Basically the parent over here is M17, And so it knew by having that checked, when I hit export map pieces, it automatically knew it was an M17, it knew where the folder was, it knew what the file was, and it knew where to send it. And it saved it, booyah, done. And so now that we've saved it, we've made an edit, we've saved it, and what we can do is actually unload Duke's archives and then reload it. And theoretically, have I fixed the file? Now, it looks a little goofy at first glance, but I've seen this with edits that I've done with this, where in DS Map Studio, it will, yeah, you can tell it's come up untextured. But I believe in game it's going to be perfectly fine. That's been what I've seen thus far, is DS Map Studio will just be like, oh, alright, that's weird. But I'm pretty used to DS Map Studio having texture-related kind of things, just because DSR is weird, not because of DS Map Studio, just to be clear. Okay, we got rid of the mesh flap, and let's see what happens. Let's go to goddamn Duke's archives, and if we fixed it, then this will be a nice tutorial. If I didn't fix it, well, it might still be useful. Maybe. We'll see. I'm at 30 minutes, so I don't want to go too much longer, but hopefully this is a nice video, a really horribly organized video. But that's how all my videos are. So if you're seeing this and you don't like the unorganization, I kind of record these on the fly and to get information out, and I'm learning in the process. So if anyone is coming here expecting a Blender expert, oh my god, you have come to the wrong channel. But I'm learning alongside all these wonderful FromSoft modding people and learning from the people who know a lot more than me. And so that I kind of like to show my journey. Oh my god, the mesh is fixed. Yes. Woo, baby. See, that's how easy this mesh or this Blender plugin has made it for me. This goddamn flap has been staring me in the face for months. And within like 1 minute or 2 minutes, we fixed the flap. That's it. This is what this tool is allowing me to do now. And I could fix issues like that shit and some of this other, you know, flaps sticking out and just a lot of the issues with the meshes that I've wanted to fix for a long time, but it's an absolute like fucking nightmare. Yeah, so hopefully if you enjoyed this video, a like on the video is super helpful, gets the video out there, and I'd like more people to know about Grim's work here because it's honestly a game changer for the Souls modding community. And what I showed here is only like 0.0001% of probably what it's capable of. And I'm going to keep learning and diving in, but hopefully this was helpful to anyone else that's looking to get into it. And also maybe just as a little tiny thing of like Blender, because I don't know Blender that well, and I'm fumbling around in the dark and figuring things out. And so yeah, I'm glad you're here to learn with me. You guys are awesome. Sharing the video helps. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We've had a lot of new subscribers. We're growing ridiculously quickly, and I love you all. So I'm grossly incandescent. I hope that you are too, and maybe this video could help just slightly start your morning off well. And so thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.